Coming up on today's wrestling news, Chris Jericho is still a genius. Don't believe us? Just ask him.
Former WWE champion is open to a Royal Rumble return.
We've got an update on a WWE Hall of Famer possibly working with AEW.
And a former AEW talent was at a recent TNA taping. I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the news.
Isn't it just? Let's start the week with Chris Jericho, shall
joy.
we? Yeah, how many times have we said that and not really meant it? Chris Jericho getting booed, getting all sorts of grief as part of the Jericho Vortex, what's his new stable called? I can't remember.
I'm Learning Tree.
Yeah, getting the kind of reactions most of the time that you would expect. Last week on Dynamite, it was please retire.
Please.
There's been boos and various sort of cheers or indifference at pay-per-views since late last year, going right into Dynasty Dynasty early this year. But don't worry, because Chris Jericho knew it was going to happen, and that's the plan, actually. Yes, he was heavily booed at Dynasty Dynasty in particular, but this was apparently exactly what he wanted. There was the "Go Home Jericho, Go Home" chants. This was all apparently things he was, he was working towards. Like Fightful Selector come through with a report today saying, "quote While that may have been an indication to the crowd of not wanting to see Jericho over him having heat, he anticipated it." Several AEW talent and people...
Doesn't make it good.
No. Several AEW talent people close to Chris Jericho claim to Fightful since Dynasty Dynasty that the reaction from the crowd is playing out almost exactly as he has laid it out to them the week before. A topic of conversation with several wrestlers wondering who smartened Jericho up to the, quote, Jericho Vortex phrase, because obviously that was something that was doing the rounds.
All of Twitter?
Yeah, like long before he's incorporated it in. This has been kicking around for about a year now. Obviously, it's been an online joke. One thing that wasn't expected by many is how Jericho adjusted the FTW title. That was a surprise to many, including Taz. So yeah, like that was obviously an added ingredient for those that haven't seen it. Chris Jericho defeated Hook for the FTW title and has since adjusted it to make it more Jericho friendly. Jericho knew this was all going to happen and it's all playing out exactly as he wanted it to, and isn't he a wrestling genius?
I mean, there's obvious stuff you can say about this, which is, just because you're leaning into it doesn't make it, like I say, a good angle.
No.
I will say, I really enjoyed that silly match over the Shibata. That was good fun, to be fair. But I'm just not a fan of this. Like, whenever he comes out on Dynamite, I'm like, oh, God, here we go. And also, more importantly, isn't he sort of standing on the dick of what's going on with the Elite right now? The whole thing with the Elite is like, thanks, guys, we're here to make AEW better. Cheers for the support. Yeah. And he's doing the whole gimmick of like, oh, I don't hear the boos, I only hear cheers. Everyone loves the Learning Tree and how I've helped Hook and what have you. I don't know. What do you think?
Possibly Mercedes Moné as well.
Yeah.
This week's Dynamite. So yeah, similar characters playing similar insincere roles. Yeah, like just because you might know it's the case, I agree, it doesn't make it good. It goes like we have a stupid running joke that we've stolen completely from The Office about, this is the real quiz.
Yeah.
This is the real quiz. Yeah, like just because you were right about something, if that something is a bad thing, it doesn't mean you get to celebrate your correctness. I don't think anyway, Chris Jericho
It's a flashback to like the bad old days of WWE when they were like, it's really good the heat that Constable Corbin's getting.
A perfect example.
Nothing against Baron Corbin, we love him now.
Well, nothing against X-Pac, and of course there was X-Pac heat.
Oh, they shouldn't be called that ever.
Rename it Chris Jericho heat. If he loves it so much and if he knows it's coming, can we just call it that from now on? This wrestler's got real Chris Jericho heat.
All I want to know is, like, when you eventually drop this FTW title, whether it be to Hook or further down the line or whatever, will you please just go away for a bit?
That's all people are asking.
Like,
if you saw,
I want to chat along to Judas. I want to see him back in the wrestling ring eventually. I just need. It's not you. It's me. It is you, actually. I need a break.
If you're mega online, fingers crossed you see this video and listen to the words like you have done the Jericho Vortex. Godspeed.
Hey, on the Fozzy tour. How about it? Long one. Right. Let's talk about a former WWE champ. Yeah, probably. Former WWE champ who's open to a Royal Rumble return, and it's awesome because it is the one half of the former. It's early on a Monday. Iconics tag team champions, of course. I'm talking of Peyton Royce, who sat down for a chat with Ring the Bell recently to talk about what's been going on with her and her past career and what's in the future, basically. Talking about her title reign, she said, obviously, it could have been... If I could have written their title reign my way, it would have gone a bit differently to the way it actually went, Ruru. But as I said, everything happens for a bloody reason. We can only control so bloody much. We had fun and we made the best of every opportunity that we had. But with regards to the Royal Rumble, the whole reason you're here to listen to this story, she said, yeah, I'm into it, for sure. I would love that. It'd be so good to catch up, and I mean, it's the Royal Rumble. We said no last time because we were still pretty hurt about it, but I feel healed now, and I feel like I'd love the opportunity if that came. Obviously, the Iconics stupidly disbanded back in 2021 after a feud with the Riot Squad, and then both of them, Billy Kay and Peyton Royce, were released in the April 2021 budget cuts, and I was incredibly sad. I think I assumed the Rumble spot this year, or the fact that the lack of their appearance. I'll swear one of them's just had a baby, so that's fair enough. But also, if they're feeling still a bit pissed off by the company for the way they handled them, which I completely agree with them on, then fair enough. But long term, I think, especially now, the Iconics will be a brilliant fit in WWE.
Yeah, there's a certain thing within WWE, I think, where, or I guess now in AEW as well, Dynamite's been on that long, where the longer you have a television presence within a company, the more like nostalgia for pretty much anything you've done exists in some corner of the world. There will be every wrestler that you've ever had see any sustained run on a Raw or SmackDown or a Dynamite or whatever, or a Nitro, will have a corner of the internet or a corner of the world that just loves them as their absolute favourite. So it's pro wrestling. If there's money to be made or if there's nostalgia to be mined for t-shirt sales, for one-off promos, you know, the good side of the like the Legends nights on Raw, and the good side of the Hall of Fames and things like that are just basically for people to relive the fun they had first time around. Like, and you can speak to that first hand with the Iconics, can't you?
They're just awesome. They really fumbled the ball with them, in my opinion. I mean, you look now, and you've got people like Chelsea Green and Piper Niven who are sort of doing, a version of that. Although Piper Niven kicks ass, obviously.
Chelsea Green is very much a spiritual sequel to the Iconics in WWE right now.
I'd love them to be in some sort of weird stable together. We've got so many serious stables right now in wrestling. So just have a fun one.
Peyton Royce in particular.
She's a great wrestler, Peyton Royce.
The infamous My Potential Haunts Me promo, I think it was, on like a Raw Talk or something, was looking to get somewhere before she was released. So,
and especially with the amount of mic time that people and the freedom people are being given, Billy Kay's a brilliant talker.
Amazing, The two of them together, there was always like a manager wrestler thing that never happened with the two of them.
I thought that was the direction they were going to go in when they weren't allowed to be a tag team anymore. And then they just were for a bit because they couldn't control the rules in the pandemic. And they were like, oh, you're a tag team, you're not a tag team, you find each other, you're friends. Oh, who cares? See you later.
Go along,
Bollocks.
Are you excited about possible Iconics return? Let us know in the comments. I know Wilborn is. Are you excited about a Wendi Richter appearance in AEW? Are you excited about a Wendi Richter appearance in AEW?
It would be amazing if they pulled this off.
Right, well, it's not happening, so temper your excitement, No, there obviously mentions from Toni Storm of late about wanting to fight Wendi Richter. These have stemmed from some of the press conferences where she's playing the timeless Toni Storm character, the name-checking of her on television as like the one great legacy. When I finish with you, it's going to be Wendi Richter, all that sort of stuff. Maybe temper your expectations that's going to happen. Fightful Select again, offering us the news today that though she was considered for an appearance in AEW around the time that all of these mentions were taking place, it is, quote, highly unlikely that she will at this point, as it was discovered that Richter is under one of the WWE Legends contracts. There is precedent for there being workarounds. Rob Van Dam implied to Fightful that he had WWE's blessing to work AEW last year when he did, for all those clips that go 4 minutes and 20 seconds on the YouTube channel. Why are they all this? What's the deal there?
I don't know.
Just wrestles like clockwork.
Yeah. 11 months from today, it'll be 420 in Vegas.
And it's WrestleMania, so the standard is going to be high.
WrestleMania Sunday.
I'm going to gobble that content up. It's all going to be super edible.
Front row. Just keep saying it.
Is that what it is, front row now?
Yeah.
But this Legends deal is going to... That's it now. There's a cut the video, smash cut to us front row at WrestleMania, live your dreams. Waving.
Me and him, and green t-shirt guy and that bloke with his mum.
Wilborn running in the match against The Rock. For like trying to stop
me that close to The Rock, I'll jump the barrier.
Shoot. Richter had previously said she would do the appearance if the money was right and all that sort of stuff.
Let her do it, WWE. This would be fun.
Well, this is it. I don't know if this is just a WWE thing or an AEW thing or indeed a Wendi Richter thing, but I agree. I think it would be a great time all around.
Pay whatever you need to pay to WWE or to... I just wish the companies would get on a little bit more because I feel like opportunities like this or stumbling blocks like this for opportunities like this...
It's case by case, isn't it?
Yeah,
you want something.
Unless we can assume if we don't see her, WWE've clearly got big plans for Wendi Richter. So
this is it. Yeah, like we've just talked about WrestleMania next year. Maybe Wendi Richter is too. She worked WrestleMania 1. She could work WrestleMania 41. Finish the story.
Smart.
Yeah.
Wendi Richter's my pick for the Rumble right now.
Have Cyndi Lauper bring her out again. put them two back together.
Yeah, after all, girls just want to have fun.
LTST,
right.
40 years of it.
Let's talk about a former AEW talent that was at recent TNA tapings. I'm talking of Jose the Assistant, who was at the TNA tapings in Newport, Kentucky over the weekend. He met with Tommy Dreamer for unspecified reasons. Had been with AEW since 2021. He was paired with Andrade El Idolo and Rouge and LFI and what have you. He left on April 1st, worked for multiple promotions in the past. He's made appearances as an enhancement talent for WWE. I saw a random load of stuff from him on social media recently as well. So, could be an interesting addition to the TNA roster.
Looks great.
Yes, always, oh my God.
Always does.
Deceptively, doesn't he?
Yeah,
nothing against him.
You wonder, TNA, for all those years that it occupied the space where wrestlers that kind of like didn't fit in one of the mainstream organisations could like find a home in TNA. You wonder if this is just another one of those stories. And for Tommy Dreamer, who at the moment, I think, I don't want to get misquoted here or misrepresent him, I think he's booking or like in charge of quite a lot of creative within TNA. Finding spots for people who have got television experience is probably no bad thing.
Yeah.
I say this as somebody that doesn't watch TNA every week. If you do, by all means let us know how this would go in the comments below. But I always feel guilty that you think, it'd be great for them in TNA. If you're a TNA fan, being like, says who? Like, we'll be the judge of that. Thanks very much, you know. But the landscape at the moment is constantly shifting. And I think wrestlers that are getting released, and now that there are releases in AEW, and the constant churn of releases from WWE, I think if TNA is an opportunity that works for both sides, not just for the wrestler, I say go for it.
Yeah, I think
wouldn't it be made?
I'm glad to see like Matt Hardy, for example, doing stuff over there.
A good example.
So he's so well received when he popped up, and he's feuding with Moose and what have you. And I love Joe Hendry. It's that simple, really.
Strap him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCultureWWE on X. Of course, you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Dan Sullivan. Cheers the question, Dan, who says, is it too much to hope that AEW is booking Ospreay to the international title because they realise they have too many belts and they can unify them at All In with Ospreay Swerve?
We've kind of dreamt this into existence ourselves, haven't we? Like, it does feel like fantasy booking right now, but the prospect of the one undeniable, unstoppable wrestler in Will Ospreay winning every belt to the point at which you have a grand unification. There is precedent for this. We mentioned him earlier in the news. Rob Van Dam in 2002 won the European title, the hardcore title, and the Intercontinental title.
That's right.
With the view that he was going to consolidate all of those when he defeated Triple H for the world title. And he lost. So that kind of like died with the game himself. But that was certainly the plan originally, and it was all going to be like Raw. There was Rob Van Dam as the Raw's breakout star.
Well, we did get the unmasking of Kane, so it wasn't all bad news.
Yeah. So, what does that mean that we get in AEW as part of this? We get the unmasking of Kill Switch,
or the Beast Mortis.
The Beast. I think
I don't want to never take that mask off.
Never take that mask off ever. So Ospreay winning these titles, I would love it. I think AEW could do it. It still feels more like a fantasy than a reality. I think they like having all those titles, but I, as a fan, do not.
I hope he either wins it and unifies it, like you say, or he is screwed out of it by, say, Don Callis, for example. But it felt like if they were going to do that, they'd put a few more breadcrumbs down before Sunday.
Do you know what I was thinking about this unification as well, this route to Wembley for Will Ospreay? If he was to win the international title, the next one he could go for would be the TNT. And Malachi Black gets quite a lot of stick for not losing a great deal, but what a match that would be.
Yeah,
assuming that Malachi Black wins the TNT title off Adam Copeland at Double or Nothing, then those two in a match, that's a match of the year contender that like Malachi Black would probably only too happy to lose so that people remember the actual contest itself.
That's fair. Wouldn't it be fun to see Will Ospreay become corrupted Nando's?
Could he be corrupted? Yeah.
So into a Nando's, black goo.
That's it, yeah. Like it's got like you never see it on the, but like he looks at Nando's menu and it's like, oh, that peri super, and then there's one at the top, like corruption. It's like, oh, is that the new hot one? I'll take that. What? The black's an interesting colour. For that. What?
He gets on this flight back to the UK because he's always going back and forth, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then the pilot door opens, the cockpit opens. Where to, Will? Ah! Booked it.
But he kills him because he's an aerial assassin. Hey?
Speaking of Adam Copeland, actually, Kenny Fraley gives us our next question. Thank you, Kenny. Okay. Says, morning, you beautiful legends. Stop it.
Murray's not back yet.
Here's my question. If they would just put the AEW World Championship on the Cope and have everyone chase him as the super heel, imagine the heat.
I I don't know.
Are they ever going to win the world title? I don't think he is.
I don't know. I love Cope in AEW, but
he seems to be having a great time in the TNT.
Would that title make it this whole Copeland invitation, Cope Oakland, this whole thing? Would it feel suddenly like a step too far? Like, you don't know until you've done it sometimes, but then it's almost like, not a joke. I'm not saying that Adam Copeland holding the world title is a joke. It's absolutely not. But in AEW, it doesn't feel like it fits quite as much.
Yeah, I could see it happening, but also, and nothing against Adam Copeland, I think one of the greatest wrestling returns ever at the Royal Rumble, of course. I could probably list 10 people off the top of my head who should win the world title before him. And some people have held it before, but I'd like to see him hold it again. And there's others, like Will Ospreay, for example, who just, it feels like you need to strike while the iron's hot. That's always a storyline you could just do longer down the road. And I just want Christian and Adam Copeland as a team at some point. And I feel like that's far closer than...
CNC versus Matt and Nick Jackson is yet to happen, isn't it? So we need to get there with that, I think.
Yeah, CNC Music Factory. They're going to make you sweat, so that'd be interesting.
I said it. I might as well just stop talking.
I forgot. I didn't even listen to what you said after that. Jeff Wirtz gives us our final question of the day. Cheers, Jeff, who says, watching SmackDown on Friday, you lucky bastard, and seeing Carmelo Hayes' wicked self. Cheer up. What is your favourite all-time RKO? Mine is one on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania where he reversed the stomp at a classic.
That was going to be mine, so I'm going to have to reach into the back, not least because I think it was Orton's, so I'm going to have to reach into the back pocket because he does that and then he almost forgets to WrestleMania. It's like, yeah, I'm Randy goddamn Orton.
What happens now? Oh, pin, that's it.
So
that's the last you see of Seth Rollins tonight.
On the basis of that already being taken, I'm going to say the one he hits on, is it the Big Show or is it Mark Henry? I've forgotten. You know why? Because it doesn't matter. When he does the skip.
I think it's Mark.
Hits it and then does the toe touch leapfrog afterwards. Woo! And Christian's like, all right, all right, you took my title. Everyone's miserable about it, but you were right.
Honourable mention to the Jeff Hardy one, because I just love the fluidity of the twist of fate, whip, RKO.
Really like that.
You have to go Evan Bourne, don't you?
That's the one. It is.
It's just so good. Cause
I think Evan Bourne and Seth Rollins are the ones held up on there.
Yeah. It's one of those. The Evan one is one where I think you and I, if we'd have been podding at the time, would have pitched it.
Yeah.
But I think you'd be like, okay, what are you doing, Evan? Why are you waiting until Randy Orton stood up and then what move were you attempting to pull off? A shooting star crossbody?
Yeah.
But he jumps and Randy Orton's still laying down and then he does the rotation and it feels like he's still laying down and then he's like, whip! So good.
Really well shot as well.
Yeah, beautiful. For once back then in WWE. How many camera cuts would you like? 1 billion, please. God, it's so much better now, isn't it? Anyway, let us know your thoughts on that and everything we've discussed in the comments section below. Like, share, subscribe, and while you're at it, why not check out, boom, this video right here.